I've been doing nature photography for 8 years, and I've seen my fair share of weird shit in the woods, ranging from bears that nearly got my head, coyotes that chased me for miles, and once a mountain lion that was a centimeter away from making me his lunch. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what I had escaped that day. It was pretty cold that day. I'd hiked 3 miles into the state forest before sunrise, trying to catch the light hitting the snow just right. My editor wanted pristine winter wilderness shots for some outdoors magazine spread, so here I was, voluntarily freezing my ass off. I found a good spot overlooking the small clearing and set up my tripod. The sun was starting to come, washing everything in pink and gold. I was lining up my shot when I saw movement at the edge of the clearing. At first, I thought it was some animal, but when I squinted a bit, I realized it was a person. A woman, to be specific. She was crouched over something in the snow, draped in a tattered animal hide that reeked of blood and rot. Her hair hung down in these long, matted tangles with frost clinging to it, and she was barefoot. I was about to call out and ask if she needed help, but the words stuck in my throat when I saw she was crouched over a deer. The deer was dead. The poor thing's throat was torn wide, staining the snow beneath him crimson. The woman was bent over it, with her face buried in the wound, and she made these wet, sucking noises, like she was trying to drink it dry. My stomach dropped the moment she lifted her head, revealing a face smeared with blood and meat that ran down her neck. Her skin was pale as a corpse, and where her eyes should have been, there were just these glistening red hollow sockets, like something had eaten them out. I watched in horror as she reached into her dress and pulled out these little carved bones strung together on a long braid that looked like it had been ripped straight from a woman's head. She laid them out in the snow around the deer in a particular pattern, wobbling around in a way that made my skin crawl. Once done, she started chanting in a deep, guttural, rasping sound that was nowhere near human. The words sounded foreign, like ancient hymns. She dipped her fingers in the blood and started drawing symbols in the snow, spirals and lines and shapes hurt to look at. Her chanting got louder by the minute, until it bounced through the trees. I should have run, gotten the hell out the second I saw her, but I realized I didn't want to get away from her. The more she chanted, the stronger the pull became, until resisting became impossible. I took a step forward, and a twig snapped under my foot. Her head immediately turned to me. Even from 30 feet away, her eyes locked onto mine, and her mouth stretched into a grin far too wide for her face. For a heartbeat, we just stared. Then, she let out a guttural, animalistic scream that shattered whatever trance I'd been under. In 2 seconds, she was on all fours and crawling towards me like a jungle cat. I blinked, grabbed my camera, and bolted, crashing through the trees as fast as I could. Behind me, I could hear her scrambling and the sickening scrape of hands and feet on snow. Every time I risked a glance back, she was closer, moving through the snow faster than any human should be able to move. Branches whipped my face as I tore through the trees. Still, I ran blindly. Suddenly, I tripped over a hidden root and went rolling through the snow. The camera flew out of my palms, but it was the last thing on my mind. She was leaping from branch to branch now, swinging like some insane animal, landing with a sickening thud right where I had been seconds before. I kept rolling down the slope. Snow filled my mouth and eyes. My lungs burned from the cold. My head spun so bad I thought I'd never breathe again. Then, somehow, the momentum threw me onto the main trail, right as 2 hikers appeared. They were a couple, bundled in coats, walking sticks in hand. When they saw me, their eyes widened in concern.
Oh my God! Are you okay?
The woman asked, helping me to my feet. I spun around and pointed at the woods behind me. There was... She was... Blood was running down my face from where the branches had cut me, and I was shaking like a dried leaf.
Oh, we should call someone.
The woman said, pulling out her phone. I looked back at the woods again and immediately saw a pale silhouette standing motionless between two pine trees, maybe 50 yards in. She was watching me with that grin still stretched across her blood-stained face. Then she turned and disappeared into the shadows. I told the hikers that I'm fine. I didn't want to make it a big deal because I was unsure of my mind. I left my camera, my tripod, my gear bag, basically everything. I walked straight to my car and drove home. I thought that was the end of it, but 2 days ago I saw a strange case in the news. The discovery of a college student's body occurred in the same area where I met the hikers down the slope. The cop had said he was on a solo camping trip. He had many bruises and disturbing biting marks on his legs and arms. It seemed like some wild animal killing, but strangely, the teeth marks on his body came out human in the autopsy report. The police suggested that a deranged person has taken shelter in those woods. Maybe that person even has taste for human meat, because authorities are clueless that what kind of a person bites off the tongue of a 19-year-old. I thought of calling the cops and sharing what I saw that day, but I'm afraid they won't believe me and will start suspecting me. What should I do?